Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Clinton Jeffrey here with Adam Ross and a bunch of our dirtiest friends, Adam. We got a bunch of dirt guys coming on the show tonight, but that doesn't mean for the asphalt guys, we're going to count them out. We have a great show planned. We're going to talk about some of the snowball derby stuff. As always, we do our best to include lots of different things. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to sign in. Spencer, our magical producer, will bring them on. Just off the top, we've got Dino coming on from Dirt Car Northeast and Empire Super Sprints to talk about some of the stuff going on there. Our friend Mike Mallett will be back. Stephen Ovens is going to join us first. But first off, Adam, how are you doing this week, my friend?
Clint, I'm all right. Life is busy lately. Really, really busy. But I'm good. I look awful tonight. I fired up my camera. I was on a webinar before this. The bags under
normal.
my eyes have. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe maybe I got a better screen or something. But the bags under my eyes have bags under them. It's crazy. I got old.
Let me tell you a little technical tip that's going on here. Spencer dumbs down our video a bit, so it actually looks a lot rougher on our screens than the viewers' screens. So
no, I still look awful, and Spencer confirmed it in our.
Spencer, no, you're getting what you're getting. So all right, you just look like crap, buddy. Sorry.
You know, once in a while, and
I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't be body shaming you. You look great.
I miss your headband. I'm not saying it's not a bragging thing, Clinton, but I really like it. I do like them and say, hey, there's Adam Ross, the voice of NASCAR in Canada. There's a good reason why they don't say, hey, there's the face of anything.
It's true. You missed the headband, really?
I thought it was a good look. It was the best ratings we ever had.
You know, honestly, I wear it every day, which is sad when I'm around the house, running around like John Travolta back in the 80s. But wow, we could sit and jaw for a while. We've had so much stuff going on. I mean, you and I talk quite a bit. It is a great time to be a race fan, not necessarily just in Canada, but the Northeast in general. There is a ton of great things going on. Energy's through the roof. We're talking about that now because the planning goes on. And for a guy like me, everybody asks, well, what do you do in the off season? And you know, I probably work the phones a lot more now than I ever do in the summer. I was thinking about the summer. I feel like kind of like Donkey Kong, just swinging from vine to vine, you know, event to event to event. Here we're climbing up them every day, trying to make stuff happen. So it's awesome. But I forget what my point was. It's a great time to be alive.
It's a great time to be a race fan, Clint. I think grassroots racing is seeing a resurgence like we haven't seen in a long time. And if there's one thing the 10-day motorsport challenge has shown me, is even though things are getting better, do you see some of the crowds in the pictures? Like, I've watched Wayne Keeling post some shots from Delaware Speedway where the stands were full right down to the bottom row. Flamborough Speedway, I've seen Smiling Ray Hughes pictures from back in the 70s where the grandstands were full right down to the bottom row. So pretty amazing. But I think we're headed that way. People have a passion for grassroots racing, and people support good racing. And even though there's some TV ratings that are failing higher up the chain, I think it's a great time to be a fan of the type racing we enjoy. And we're going to talk about why there's some problems at the top of the food chain, but that's later in the show, Clinton. But I believe pretty firmly that there's so much smoke blowing going on, and I'm not talking about Tony Stewart. It's just crazy. It's dumb. It insults our intelligence.
Spencer, do we got Stephen Ovens? Bring Stephen Ovens on. We don't want to keep him. I sent him a thing. I know we're Rivalz Elite Pros off this week, Adam. And Steve, welcome to the show. I sent him a carrot and said, hey, can you come on from 9 till 9:05? I know you got other things doing. Here's 9:05. We didn't get to him. So, Steve, thanks for putting up with our tardiness. What are you doing after this? You got somewhere to go? You racing tonight yourself? Uh-oh.
We'll work on that sound here, Stephen, while we get rolling. Now, what I really want to know is Stephen going to come and race Rivalz Asphalt tomorrow night? Because I've seen Stephen doing some blacktop racing, and I really enjoy being on the track with him, and I hope that takes off. It's Phoenix this week, I believe, Clinton, and that track is awesome.
I see he ran very good last night with the Monday Night League, finished second, and let us know when we got him back, Spencer. Um, we've got Dean coming on to talk about some cool stuff, and Dean Reynolds is we've talked about Dean quite a bit. You know, he's been around a long time, done a lot of things, and he's been on our show before, but kind of just as a wrap up and lead into Dirt Week and a lead into the finals. So we'll get him on in a second too. Whenever you're ready, Spencer. If Dino's there, we'll bring him on.
And the one thing for Steve, and I find sometimes when I'm having trouble with my mic and camera, which has happened, close the window, open a window again, make sure you go into your settings and you've got the mic and the headphones set for that. But I find that this software doesn't like, once it gets disconnected, you're screwed. Just close it and open it again. Or, Clinton, we could skip directly down to the manipulation
let's
portion,
do that.
because that's just a you and me thing. So NASCAR,
you and I both bring topics to the show, right? You each bring topics. So each week, this is your topic. So I'm not sure where you're going with it. So I'll let you lead the way.
So NASCAR issued a big penalty. I can't tell. One of them is Gaunt Brothers. They benefited from the penalty that was given to, I believe, Premier Motorsports. And I apologize for not knowing which teams they are. But they went back through radio communications. And it turns out Premier Motorsports was involved, or whatever this group was involved in, parking cars at Homestead to allow the 27 car to advance 2 positions, and they become the top finishing non-charter team in the point standings. They won the toilet bowl. You know, anyone who can get their car to the racetrack week in and week out, kudos. Hats off to you. I don't want to show any disrespect. But don't make a championship for it. Don't make a big monetary prize because nobody cares. The charter team thing did not work out the way it was supposed to. The fans have not benefited in any way. And what happened was, because these teams, Joe Nemechek, Joe, come in, we got to change your steering box. That's usually a command that comes from the driver saying, hey, I've got a problem with my steering box. Doesn't come from the competition director. Eggleston, I think was his name. I read the story a while ago and sent it to you, Clinton. But basically, they did manipulate the results. They took cars that they were a part of and brought them into the garage area. Guess what? It's my car. I can do what I want with it. How is that any different than teammates taking the green flag on lap 100 of a race? One teammate backs off so the other can lead a lap and get a point. Then the other one backs off and lets the other go by for doing them that favor. That is equally as manipulative. It is a 1-point difference, just like what this race team is said to have done. All I'm saying is, let racing be racing, Clinton. If I put together a Monster Energy NASCAR Cup team and I want to go race at Daytona, and on lap 125 I decide, I've had my fun, I'm going home. What are you going to do? Say I manipulated the outcome of the race? Yeah, I parked it. I want to go have a cheeseburger. Well, I don't understand how this is allowed, but that's not allowed. What is the difference? They're both manipulating races, but one is widely accepted and one is not.
Yeah, especially you'd think the one at the front of the field is a lot more obscene to the fans as opposed to the one where they're battling for 36th place. And you're right, we've seen it for years. You know, to the teams, they should be a bit smarter. We talk about it when the street stock stops to get a yellow flag because he stalled. We know he can pull away. We always joke about it live on the air. You got to play the game a bit. So the team should have been a bit smarter, but same thing we talk about even here on the short tracks. You cannot make a rule unless you have a solid way to police it. So, you know, NASCAR needs to find a better way to police it and eliminate the problem. Steven, we'll take you on here, and that's Steven, not Dean, there on the screen. But Steven, welcome back. We got you now? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
All right. So, Steve, welcome back here. You've done a fantastic job with the Rivalz Elite League. All of the racing going on, but wearing out your voice, I'm hearing in the winter, and that's something Adam deals with around mid-July every year. Not something you should be dealing with in start of December. But we're keeping you busy.
Yeah, that you guys are, and it was funny you said something about the quote unquote off season. I'm not sure what the off season is quite anymore. I've got the Rivals Elite Pro Series. We've got the Ashwekan Outlaws League going, and I do a little bit of announcing for semi-pro hockey here in Elmira during the winter time now too. And last week, on top of catching a cold, I had 3 out of 4 days I was doing hockey games, and the 2 nights before that we were doing iRacing stuff. So this past weekend, man, I was absolutely shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed when you keep working as hard as you're working, Steven. Yeah, you take care of yourself. Make sure you do that, because once you lose your voice, it's hard as hell to get it back.
Yeah, but I will say that, with all of that being said, it's been a whole lot of fun. The racing has been good. I mean, when I leave a race night and feel like I've, really put 150% in because the racing was that good, even on a simulation, I don't mind that at all. And, it's been fun. You guys mentioned, and I appreciate, we got a second place finish with the Rivalz League with Roger and Preston's league last night, which was a lot of fun. I found that running with these guys, even if I can only run, maybe 2 or 3 times a week through the ladder system, I've, it's really paid off quite a bit for me. And so to be running with all these guys and nail down a second place, I thought I was on top of the world. Now, I should have been able to qualify to the Renegades race, but I had to announce the Renegades race, so I couldn't run that. But it's been a good time. It's been a good time.
Are you going to come and race tomorrow night on the asphalt of Phoenix?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I ran with you guys a couple weeks ago at Talladega and absolutely got my ass whipped, and I'd be more than happy to do it again at Phoenix tomorrow.
Talladega is a humbling experience because you put your foot to the floor and sometimes you lose the draft, Clint, and you just drop like a stone. You think, what am I doing wrong? I got my foot to the floor and I'm keeping it between the lines. At least when you go to Phoenix, there's a little bit more driver input there. So if you're with the pack, it's because of you and your setup. And if you're not with the pack, it's because of you and your setup. So Talladega, a little bit different. Do you have any thoughts on manipulating finishes, Steven? Did you catch that conversation?
I did. And what boggles my mind, and I won't take credit for knowing this myself. I heard Dave Moody talk about it on the satellite NASCAR channel, and he had a great point. There is a top level person in management with one of these teams that was accused of trying to manipulate the finish, that was a part of Michael Waltrip Racing when all of that debacle went down in the playoffs, and we saw penalties that were, unheard of at the time. And so taking that into consideration, I agree wholeheartedly with what Moody said. Why on earth, after somebody who went through that experience, would, be involved or let somebody within their organization now even remotely think that was a good idea? Like, because somebody, rather one person went rogue, or this was something that was crafted in a meeting room, at 8:00 at night over a couple of Budweiser. I mean, I don't understand how, they thought that, because let's face it, guys. I mean, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And to think that these guys, knowing what happened years ago with Michael Waltrip Racing, which they then lost their sponsors, they then, the team shut down. I can't understand why anybody would say, hey, you know what, let's give that a shot. I think that's a good idea.
It's really funny to me, and sorry, Clint, I'm going to cut you off, but I'll let you speak right after. It's funny to me the different perspectives people look at this from. Some people really look at it from an integrity standpoint. I look at it more from the business standpoint, and from the standpoint that I listened to a lot of NASCAR radio while the season was going on. And it blew me away how many people I heard come on the show, oh, no, nobody would do that. No, this would never happen. Like, guys, did we forget that this just happened a few years ago? And that people have been messing with things, like everything is set in code, because everything is a secret. I mean, I don't see why some people were shocked that this sort of thing could happen. That blows my mind. And just one more. Can you either of you two name dirt racers that used to race like that? If they weren't going to finish in the top 3 to 5, they would pull off about 10 laps into a race. Do you remember anyone like that?
Sure.
Is that manipulating the outcome?
Yeah.
Taking my ball and going home. If I can't win, they weren't points racers, they were money racers. And why spend all that tire and gas, even though the fans paid good money to watch a race? These race car drivers also paid a lot of money to put their car on the track, and they decided just to load up. And they're some of the most popular and most famous dirt modified racers of our generation.
I've even seen it on the dirt track side at a track that I used to announce at. And obviously I won't name names, but everybody in the pit area knew that, if somebody was, new coming out, that because of the handicap, they were going to start 12th. There was a pretty good chance they were going to pull off before that feature was done. And, 3 weeks later, you look at the handicap sheet and you're like, man, they did that 2 or 3 weeks in a row. Now they're going to start on the hammer tonight and they're going to take home a win. So I can't say that I haven't seen it, because I have, for sure.
That's a great point. We've seen that many times. Steven, we got to move on with the show, but I want to talk to you. I have one question in mind for you. Who in your circle, mainly that you deal with, who's the most famous guy that we would know who's come up and talked to you about iRacing, or maybe somebody you didn't expect who's come up to you and said, hey, man, that iRacing's really taken off. How do I get involved? Because we're hearing a lot up here. Can you think of anybody who's come to mind?
Oh boy, that's a good one. I won't claim that anybody, on the, A-list famous side has come to me. I mean, a lot of people have made comments about the coverage and things, and how do you get involved in something like that? But there's 2 dirt racers I know here recently that, one being I've seen him here the last 2 or 3 weeks, Dave Axton, a guy that runs 360 sprint cars all over central New York and up around, traveling the series up tracks up in Canada as well. He's just come on the scene here a few weeks ago and has been running all sorts of series races with us and things like that. And we've got another modified guy from Land of Legends that just picked up a wheel and pedals here a week ago. And, he's a young guy that needs, seat time and laps. And I don't know that this will be a direct transfer to dirt modifieds, but, he wants to give it a shot because he's seen what's been happening online. So, there's definitely guys out there that are wanting to, that are seeing this and seeing that, not on the driver's side, but, like you guys with Mallet. I think, getting Mike behind the wheel, over at Buchanan's house, I mean, that was huge because, while Mike might not see 100% the value that some of the drivers saw initially, once he got behind the wheel, he was like, man, this is a legit thing. So yeah, it's happening for sure.
All right, thanks, Steven. We'll talk to you next week. We appreciate you being here with us. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, for the Rivalz Elite Pro, you can make some real game bets on it. The iRacing pools are live for tonight and for next week, so they're live right now. Pools are live for the following weeks as well. You can sign up on victorgames.com with the code ELITE for $20 in free bonus funds to make your picks. Please try and get out there. Share it up, especially if you're in Canada. Get in the game. First-time depositors also get a 500% deposit bonus. Email money transfer is available, and that is the fastest and most secure way to play. Once again, that's victorgames with the Z.com. Use sign-up code ELITE for your free $20 in bonus funds to make your picks. Thanks, Steven, for being with us. Adam, we've got 2 of our other buddies standing by on the line. Dean Reynolds and Mike Mallet are going to be joining us here as well shortly. And just while we wait for them to get 4 wide, we want to welcome one of our great supporters as well, Jibs. They've been killing it since 2010. They're Canada's source for the best scooters, BMX, bikes, and skateboards. Great gift for your kids. Get them out. Get them active. You can shop online at jibsactionsports.com or visit them at their store in Burlington, Ontario. And I tell you, their website is absolutely amazing. Check it out. That's Jibs Action Sports. Browse the best selection of trick scooters, skateboards, and BMX bikes, and get your kids out and get them active at jibsactionsports.com. Thanks, Mark, and all your staff, and the great support you've given to the dirt racer. Mark, former dirt racer himself, and huge supporter. And we're 4 wide. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Adam gets full of hot air and can't shut the guy up. So here we are with you guys. First, in the upper corner there, Dean Reynolds with us. Wow, this is like Hollywood Squares. And Mike Mallett in the bottom corner. We are 4 wide here on the Rivalz show. Of course, Clinton Jeffrey, myself, and Adam Ross above me. Should I be doing the look up and you look to the side, Adam, and it's all supposed to work out that way?
Mike, it came up on Facebook today on George Smith's pictures of GT for his birthday. Does Carrie Shuba teach with you in Oswego?
Yeah,
she's not Carrie Shuba.
English. No, she's
not Carrie. I haven't seen her in years and years. The last time might have been at Jimmy Ferlito's. Do you know? The last time I saw her.
Tomorrow showing her that. I'm debating tomorrow to showing her that picture of
you know what,
GT to see what she said.
She was a great motorsports ambassador. There was a time. I mean, you go back to Robin Smoker, Anna Marie Malfitana, Carrie Shuba, and the list goes on of people who did a lot of great things for racing, represented very, very well. I'm aging myself a little.
I'm here.
Hey, Dean, welcome to the show. Last time you're on Mallet, you're just going to hang out. For those of you who don't know, we're all fairly good buddies. Mallet and Dino go to a lot of races together. Dino, first off, wrap up your full first season. We spoke to you between Dirt Week and the World Finals. Happy with the outcome of how everything went with the Super Dirt Car Series this year and the tracks in general.
Well, it's funny. The first thing I want to mention is I saw Steve's background, and now I see Mallet's background. I grabbed a sprint wing and put that in my background so I could join everybody else in the club. So,
it's not helping, Dean.
Thanks, Mallet. Clint, no, after the first year, with the banquet, I had a chance to sit down and reflect for about 10 minutes because then we had a pro stock rules meeting the next day. But I hope I did a good job. I had a lot of people give me a thumbs up and a pat on the back, and it means well. But I always want to work hard, and hopefully next year is even better. And we got some exciting things to announce with the series. But I think overall, the car counts are up. The crowd seemed to be good. Series races, hopefully they're good at the weekly shows. We brought on a couple. We're going to bring on a couple tracks through sanction some new divisions, and right now it's looking pretty good.
What's the hottest news this week, Dino?
What's that, Clint?
What's the hottest news?
Well, I guess for the people that are on this show, and the reason why I'm on is the Super Dirt Car Series, and Monday night, July 6th. And Clint, you told me that's actually the 25th anniversary of the track. We're going to have a $10,000 to win big block show, and I'm proud to announce it here. People that are listening in, hopefully they're as excited as we are.
So in case you missed it, that will be a $10,000 to win, guaranteed starting spot at Super Dirt Week race for the big blocks at Oshweekon Speedway on Monday, July 6th. And Adam's quick there with the comment. Good job. It's going to be a big deal. Dean, now, as much as I like to take credit for doing that, I started hearing rumors the day of your meetings. How did this deal come together? Because it came down from Syracuse more than it came from us.
Yeah, well, Ransomville had to move their date off their traditional August and had to move to July. And the date and also the economics and so forth with the series just didn't quite work for Don. And Don was very gracious and cordial, and he says, Dean, I'd like to take a year off and just concentrate on the track. And, he had a good year last year, but he wants to focus more on his weekly programs and programs he knows that is affordable to get the track a little more stable ground, get it better stable ground, I should say, because he's doing a good job. And Ransomville, for the nucleus of the series, is kind of out there by itself. There's no easy way to get there, and it's a long ways except for Matt and for Matt Williamson, that is. And we always like to pair up a show with that. Well, you actually asked for a show last year. I don't remember that.
No, awesome deal, Dean. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, so you called us and said, hey, would you be interested in doing it? And Glenn is on board. And the other cool thing there, guys, is as Dean mentioned, yeah, July 6th is actually the 25th anniversary to the day of Ohsweken Speedway's first race. So it's going to be an exciting pairing. Not necessarily our one of our core divisions. You'd think we'd be celebrating the 25th anniversary, but it came out and the day just seemed to work. And the big thing I want to clear up around here, Dean, is a lot of guys still think it's going to be the August weekend. And if I can speak on behalf of Jennifer and the folks at Ransomville, they're having a World of Outlaw race July 31st. Their concern was putting their two big events in 1 week together. So that meant it was, I guess, easier to move the modified race than it would be the Outlaws. So they moved it to July. That actually fit with us more. As a courtesy, I did call Don Speaks and let him know, we were going to have the big block race that he turned down, and he was cool with it. So we're excited to be back. And, as talking to Greg, I think this will be the third time we've had the big blocks in 6 years. It's been every 2 years. And this will keep us right on schedule. So that's July 6th. So we're having a bit of trouble with Dean. I think we're going to let him go. But, Adam, exciting news to have the big blocks back. I know you, myself, Greg, we all grew up on the modifieds, and to have them all coming back is going to be amazing.
I'm a huge fan. I'm really looking forward to it. Paul Klager asked the question on Facebook, who is going to be the support classes for the big block show, Clint? Are you ready to announce that?
Well, we can get it out at the drivers' meeting, which is this Sunday, and we'll talk about that near the end of the show a little bit with some of the stuff. I'm just pulling up here. I have penciled in right now as the Big Block Modifieds Action Sprint Tour and the Thunderstocks Monday, July 6th. So I think it's going to be a good deal there.
Awesome night of racing.
Yeah, 3 quick divisions. And Mallet, what's your thoughts on the big blocks coming back to Ohsweken?
That just means I got to make a trip out to Canada. That's going to make for a long week. That's the end of my Empire Super Sprint Speed Week. So it's going to be from 5 nights in Central New York to on the road, and I'm pretty sure there'll be more than one race that week. So I don't think I'll be packing my bag on Monday morning and won't be home for a while, I'm assuming. But that's okay. That's what I do in the summer.
How do you not have a motorhome sponsor deal yet to go out on the road? Like, you need a little mini Winnie or something to cruise around with.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it? But hey, you never know. There's some things in the works. We'll see how it all plays out. A motorhome would make my life significantly easier. But if you see the guys I travel with, try sharing a motorhome with them. I mean, I think a couple of them, Adam, make Adam look small. So, and I'm only picking on the Sasquatch, and he ain't here to defend himself. So.
I think when we met Mike Mallet, he had a bit of hair. He didn't have a beard, and he lived out of a Ford Tempo with a Yankee hat with a big melted bite out of it, I think, if I recall correctly.
And I was half now.
There you go.
Up to me. I blame Adam.
Now, man.
Before we let you go, Mike,
go ahead.
Hanging around. The Gobbler. You got to call it last weekend, the final official race. And how ironic is it that most of the people that were at the race on Saturday were digging out of snow on Sunday. So that one just slipped under the wire.
Yeah, it was a close call on the Gobbler. A good day. I was fine. I had heat in the tower, so life was good for me. I give everybody that was there a ton of credit because it was freaking cold. I had Bobby Sweeney that writes for us in Dirt Track Digest with us, and he was doing the temperature gauge all day. He's like, when racing started, it was 34 degrees. When the modified feature got over, it was 28. I go, hey, good for you, buddy. I was a balmy 68 in the tower.
Did they have a crowd?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I think the snowstorm hurt him a little bit because you didn't get much of that Pennsylvania draw because, not a lot of drivers from PA. Just because, everybody, a lot of people in racing work at snow plowing and landscaping and that kind of stuff. So everybody's preparing, putting the snow blade on and doing all the things they got to do to get ready for a major storm. of course, you had the hype of the storm. Like, my God, you think the world's coming to an end? So we have, we're getting a foot of snow. Good Lord. But, I think that kind of hurt the car count a little bit, but I think the fan count was terrible. Wasn't spectacular, but again, all things considered, I thought it was a great day of racing. Fun getting back on the microphone, and it took me back to my roots because one of the first guys I ever announced with was Tim Pitts, and it was Tim Pitts and I on the call. That was different. Him and I announced together, I want to say 2005 for 3/4 of the season. So we've worked together one time since then. So that was neat. That was a lot of fun. Tim's good to work with, and it's always good to get back with a veteran guy. And you still learn stuff no matter how long you've been doing it when you work with somebody you haven't worked with a while, or somebody you don't get a chance to work with often. So it was fun.
He's the
up on
only
the chip.
announcer. He's the only announcer I've ever heard who announces the echo at the end of a name. Like, most people say the name, and then in a stadium it kind of trails off. And he actually does that. Andy McKetty. Like, he announces his own echo. It's the coolest thing to hear, I think.
I can just remember listening to Super Dirt Week when he used to do it. You know what I mean? That was always our, where we had a lot of fun. Talking about it. I think you and I, Adam, have talked about that at Super Dirt Week, actually. So,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and you know what makes it better? Andy McKetty won, so that made it perfect.
That's awesome.
Well, how is it that his one call of that one guy's name is what all us Canadians remember? Because I recall him saying, Andy, but I know, but just the call of the Andy Becchetti name ringing through the grandstands by him during driver introductions reminds me of my early years at Dirt Week. So it was it was awesome.
I think the Becchetti one is the one that's most pronounced, the different way he says names. I think that's the one he says gives the most vibe to, but I think that's because Becchetti kind of grew up racing at Middletown. He ran Middletown. That's where the Wild Child nickname and all that came from. And the only other one he does it with, has a little bit extra on is Brett Hearn. But Hearn wasn't there, so we got the Becchetti, and it was a good day, and I thought it was a decent race, short track racing, little beating and banging. You knew guys didn't have to worry about fixing their stuff for 3 months, so they were going all in on trying to make passes and get by guys. But at the end of the day, hey, I saw a race on November 30th. And I got to call some racing action, and I had a good time. And what can be better than that? You don't get to see outdoor racing very much this time of the year. I think now this weekend I'm going go-karting just so I can get a race in the month of December, and then that'll be like, I'm not gonna say that's it because I got 2 weeks off at Christmas. You never know, but you get a chance to see some racing here, and I'll go this weekend to see some cage karts. That'll give me 4 years straight with a race every month, so 4 consecutive years with a race per month.
Race will make your hair fall out, Mike. You better be careful.
It hasn't worked from the neck down, Clint.
That's your personal hygiene issues, brother. I don't need to hear it. Finally, before we move on to Dave Bittner and from Humberstone, who's waiting in the wings. For those waiting to see Dave, he's queued up. Mike, the one thing I saw about the Gobbler was that it lacked the superstar power. But when you look at a Brett Deo race, that's how Brett cut his teeth and made his deal, was with, no offense, the other guys. So do you think in the end everybody was happy at the end of how it all turned out?
Again, this show was the first year that Brett didn't have a hand in it. He didn't help promote it. He was off on vacation in Florida or somewhere warm. I'm not sure if it was Florida or not, but he was in the Gobbler. I mean, I think what you got is what you expect. You look at the names that have won the race and been a part of the event the past few years, and you kind of got those same guys. Ben Parego, Becchetti, Danson. Those guys were there. You actually threw in Eric Rudolph this year for a name. If you look, what I find interesting about Rudolph, his car came from Delaware and he came from Ransomville, so I don't think there was a corner farther apart than he made the trek for on Saturday. You were missing a couple of PA guys, and the Ricky family wasn't there. And I don't know if that, they had Jimmy Wells, but there was no Mike, Rich, and Allison, which I was kind of disappointed. But again, he still had 28 months. And again, Accord is not everybody's cup of tea. Let's be fair. If you're into the bull ring racing and you like to beat and bang a little bit, that's what it is. Accord's a tight place. It's tough. You got to be on your A game. It's elbows up. And that's the style of racing you get there, and that is not everybody's favorite place. I enjoy it because it's just something different. Traditionally I'm on the big half miles all the time. Occasionally, I get the third mile at Brewerton, but when you get that tight, the tightness of Accord, There's a few guys that I'm like, I think I'll just go into wintertime now. But if you haven't figured out, you can win some races there. And, like Andy McKetty has figured out. This is 2 consecutive events that he's won. He won the last one back in 2017, and he won it here again now in 2019. And then you had Parego. Parego was a top 5 car. The guy I got to give a shout out to was Joe Judge. He had a great day. He finished 3rd behind Danny Creedon. Danny Creedon, one of the superstars, but Danny's a guy that can win some races on those little tracks. And Joe Judge, just a weekly, hey, I run Accord every week. And he was, I'll use a Billy Decker term here, tickled to finish 3rd on the podium, with those guys in front of him. So it was neat to see a guy that happy after his day. And Jimmy Wells came from 14th, I believe it was, up to 4th. So, he did some racing, did some passing. Then Anthony Parego, uncharacteristically, just kind of average, terrible, but wasn't good enough either to challenge. I expect a little more out of him. But I always have high expectations for him at Accord. He's always been good. So, but all in all, again, you don't have the superstars, but man, it's December basically. I mean, some guys are done. Matt Shepard, how many races did he run? Matt Williamson, how many races do those guys run? Some of them at this point, they're just burned out. They need a break. They're, unlike me, the race fan / owner of DTD, I'd go racing every day. I don't have to maintain the equipment. I just got to write stories, put them up, and, hey, we're done. 3-4 hours a day, and let's call it a day. Those guys got all the maintenance, the work, and all that. Some of them, hey, they just need a break. Again, Stewie was with Brett Dale on vacation. So, that was, obviously what he would prefer to do. And I get it. You can't knock anybody for not showing up. And I think the fans saw a pretty good show for what they paid to get in. And hey, I couldn't think of a better way to wrap up my year. It's better than having those be my last race. So I'll take it.
All right. Thanks, Mike, for being with us. It's Mike Matt from DirtTrackDigest.com. Just want to remind everybody, we have Dave Bittner coming Humberstone first. Just went up to speed on some of the other cool stuff we've got going on. Of course, Six Nations Bingo. Just up the road from Oshwegan Speedway for all your bingo needs. You can check them out, whether you're looking for a new experience or you're a bingo fanatic. They've been the preferred choice for players for over 20 years. Easily accessible just off of Highway 54 between Brantford and Caledonia, offering the largest and friendliest bingo hall in the region. Join them for many of their big events and holiday specials. Six Nations Bingo, it's 2585 Chiefswood Road, just north of Highway 54, 1 mile north of Oshwegan Speedway. That's Six Nations Bingo. Check them out online. And all kinds of ways to win, all kinds of cool stuff going on. We'll now invite Dave Bittner to the show. Oh, look at that. And he's got a Josh Hansen shirt on. Josh is our
nice shirt.
Rookie of the Year in the 360s at Oshwegan Speedway and the Action Sprint Tour champion. David, can you hear us? Can we hear you, sir? Hey, Dave.
Right on.
Welcome to the show.
Gotta love my Hansen shirt.
That is a great shirt. Way to represent. Now, where's your headband? We're really promoting headbands on this program, like Clinton Jeffrey wears.
I see that, but I don't have any hair to hold back from my face, so.
Fair point, but still, it's a look. We'll be selling them online starting next week.
We have a problem here because every guest that's been stuck in the middle of us doesn't have any hair. So maybe we're just going to have to keep finding bald guys for the inside.
No, we need to make headbands with hair. You know those hats that have big hair sticking out of them? We'll do it with headbands. We can
like
do it,
Rico.
Dave.
Yeah,
Rico has the mullet hat. Yeah. Dave, we brought you on. First off, congratulations on the successful banquet. I played hockey with the guys last night, and the talk was going on about how I still think you guys have a great deal at the Americana. Quickly, Humberstone Speedway partners up with the Americana, a gorgeous water park resort in Niagara Falls. The deal is like, was it $99 for the room? If you're got family, you go there, hang out at the water park for the day, get a room for $100, walk downstairs to the banquet. Gorgeous facility. There's your plug for the Americana. But Dave, your banquet's always been really classy.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We had a nice decked out room with all Humberstone colors, but that's really what ended up happening is we do our nominations. So we have a lot of people that get nominated for a lot of different awards. And with that kind of stuff, we have a lot of people that show up for the banquet. So really good time.
Awesome. The big news out of the banquet, Adam, was that Dave partnered up with Emma and Coop from Club 54 Racing, and they are going to be doing something special. Dave, and I'll let you announce what the plan is for 2020.
Yeah, so our weekly racing division, so when we have our weekly racing, every driver is going to get in for free this year. So there is no more paying at the gate for our drivers. You literally sign in and we bring you in for free.
That's awesome.
That's-
You know, and I've seen this and heard this before, but Dave, as someone who runs the racetrack, and Clinton, you run a racetrack, when you actually sit down and do the math, that is a huge gift. That's $2,000-$3,000 a week.
Yeah, it really depends. Like we do our what do you call it? The free passes that we do for perfect attendance. So
Okay.
that we had 61 perfect attendance this year, which is fantastic. I will take 61 every day of the week. We're expecting that we'll be giving away another 61 passes. Yep, there you go.
That's the number I get.
So, yep. And that's the commitment that we are bringing to Humberstone. I know it's tough on a Sunday night sometimes to come out, and that's just one extra step that we're taking to help people get out to Humberstone this year and watch some racing and race at Humberstone.
It's
So
the little things.
Go ahead, Adam.
It's the little things that you do that make a good promoter. You know, you add up all the little things and trying to do the right thing and trying to encourage, like you say. If at any point a driver or a race team gets discouraged from coming to your track, you're screwed. Like that's you need them. So this is huge. Hats off to you.
Thanks, man.
So, Dave, yeah, that number I showed is our math from our weekend side of things. So if I took that's at the member price, even that's 120 drivers that we get times $20 a head times 19 nights. It's $45,600. That's a huge chunk of change. You're kind of sacrificing or repurposing, Dave. For those who know Humberstone, they're going to look at this and go, "How can you afford this? What's the game plan? Why?" And if you got 45 grand from Emma, I'm coming to see you tomorrow, sweetheart, because I had you first.
No, definitely not. And that's one of the big things that we were trying to do was we were trying not to make it fully on relying on sponsors. Half of the idea behind this is that we pay out quite a bit already for our nightly like our nightly payouts anyways. So we were going to add money to that. So instead of just adding money to it, literally you would be handing us money at the gate, and then you would be giving that money right back at the end of the night. So instead of me adding more money to the purses, why don't I just give everybody free entry?
No, Dave. So let's talk about, for those who don't know, what is the plan? I know you haven't had your rules meetings yet, but plan's still going to be open draw because, an open draw system along with something like this tends to help out drawing the guys. And, we've talked about it before. If they don't qualify or get rained out on the weekend, they're more apt to come out if they're not stuck at the tail. Is the thought process still to stay with the open draw system?
Yes, absolutely. It's the same as always. The only real difference is that you get in for free. So there will be a few nights throughout the year, somewhere between 5 and 10, that the free pass won't be available for drivers that are not part of our perfect attendance. But every night after, other than that, so including, I know of at least 2 sprint car nights that are going to be free.
No, that's awesome, Dave. It's certainly a good deal. Anything else you want the fans to know about Humberstone before we cut you loose here tonight?
Well, we're working on a few more things. Wednesday, we are actually having a July 1st for our Canada Day. We're doing a 100-lap enduro, which is really new, a midweek enduro during the day. So I was pretty jacked to hear about that one.
That's exciting. You have any? How'd your season go this year? You happy with how everything turned out?
Yeah, it was a season where I was really proud of the amount of work that everybody put into this place. It was one of those ones where we roughly rattled off 17 races in a row, and it was really tough at one point. And guys like Zach Ferry and Debbie Ferry, and they all really took a huge chunk off my plate with taking on the kids club. And Zach is now our race director. He's also one that helped spearhead this whole initiative of Drivers Free. So him coming aboard and really taking on a big chunk of the responsibility for this really helped out.
That was good. That brings us to our Burger Barn video of the week, Dave. Stick with us. Spencer, if you can cue that up. Obviously, a bit of an emotional week for you guys. We lost Adam Ferry a couple weeks ago. The banquet was there. I know his son was up to receive his awards. And then Sunday, basically the region got shut down. Everything was shut down. And you guys still had he had a moment there for Adam where he took his final laps. And, just talk quickly about that. And Spencer, if you got that queued up, feel free to run it at any time. But Dave, there we see it now. And that was Jason Fontaine, who was a good friend of Adam. And one of the Dykstra cars out there with what was to be Adam's new crate car moving into crates this year. Of course, you guys still got it off in the weather. And I mentioned it looks wet, but literally the region was shut down with weather. They shut down all the roads and you still got it out. I know it was special for you to be able to do that for the Ferries. Your thoughts on giving Adam his last lap?
It was honestly one of the most spectacular things I've seen in a long time. It was so heartfelt and so many people showed up. We had about 200 people show up in the driving rain, freezing cold, to give Adam his farewell lap. And it really was something that I've never seen before. I've never seen a sprint car on dirt like that before. Earlier in the day, everything was frozen. So when myself and Zach showed up earlier in that day, we looked at the racetrack, frozen solid. We thought this was going to be super simple. And then by the time everybody showed up, it was just rain and it was wet. But we still had about 200 people in the stands for that final lap, which was phenomenal. So I thank everybody for coming out to make it really that special.
Awesome, Dave. Thanks for being with us. We'll be checking in with you as the season nears closer. It's Dave Bettner, president of Humberstone Speedway. Thanks, Dave, for being with us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
See you tomorrow at lunch, Dave. All right. Dave and I are going to get together and drop off some trophies, and we will talk about how we can continue to work together between the tracks here in Ontario to keep things strong. So, Adam, we've covered off so much. I got a bunch of housekeeping notes here. I just like to whip through quickly a couple notes I made. If you haven't checked it out already, the Max DTR download came out for a mobile online game. If you've not checked that out, we're hoping to have the creators on next week, Adam. We want to test their audio and their video connection, but it's going to be really cool to have them come on and talk about it. It started back in 2016, was one of the first contracts I signed as manager of the Speedway, was to give them the likeness to use it, and they did a fantastic job. They've even got it down to the LED lights on the fence posts. It is a super cool deal. Frustrating as hell, though, Adam. I know a lot of our guys spent the weekend beating their head against the wall to figure it out, and but it's been some good chatter. So check that out. It's available in the App Store and Google Play. It's Max DTR, and it's got a sprint car on the cover. Check it out. Look for the Schweikens Speedway track in the tracks listing. Another quick thing, Adam, while I'm here, Show Pass is going to be our new Canadian ticket provider at Schweikens Speedway. We just signed a multi-year deal with them to provide ticket services for online tickets to buy everything from camping to all our major events at Schweikens Speedway. They're based out of Calgary. I've been around a few years by a couple of young guys up and coming, and we're really happy with the service we got with Show Pass. So no longer with Ticket Force, you'll see that coming out of Schweikens Speedway. While I'm talking about that, tickets for all our major events and camping go on sale Monday in time for Christmas, including driver's passes this Sunday at the drivers meeting, which is going to be at Steyer Shop at 1 p.m. for our Schweikens teams. We don't anticipate any big rule changes. All the rules are locked in, but drivers are welcome to bring out their topics for discussion. And I think that's it for most of my housekeeping off the top. But exciting out to be with a new ticket partner. And the idea is to get as much stuff automated to make it easier for our fans to self-service themselves. Go on the website, pick up the seats you want, purchase them right there, just like you would with StubHub or any of the other big sports organizations. What are you laughing for?
So you want people to go on your website to service themselves? I don't.
Hey, it's either service themselves or Mary services them. So.
Oh, see,
All right.
don't ask me what I'm laughing at, because you're never gonna like the answer.
Yes, thank you, Fran, for wishing happy birthday to my wife, Christine. It's Christine's birthday today, and it's Adam's my mom's birthday too. So how's that? I got both of them. So I don't know whether that's a curse or a bit of luck that I never forget, or if I forget, I forget them both. But
I
it
was
seems
gonna
like
say it's only
one of them always
a
gets
curse
kicked
if you
off. So
forget.
I tried to do separate Facebook posts to honor them both today, but happy birthday to Mom and Christine. So let's talk about what do we miss off the deal. So the schedule puzzle is the first thing at the top of the deal, and we're just going to talk about how we work together to kind of mix it all and kind of intermingle all the tracks and all our special events. And you heard Dean talk a bit about how Ransomville wanted to put their deal on the Tuesday. They want to know if we could put it on the Monday. Even myself with planning the Action Sprint Tour along with the Ush Weekend stuff, we're figuring out where all this goes to put it on the right spot. And it's like a Rubik's Cube. If we move one side and move the other, but that is too much of a detailed conversation to get into right now. Maybe we should hold that for next week, because it is a tangled web we weave.
Well, you almost need to show a calendar with the whole year on it. So if you take a calendar that's this big, the dates that you can run races in are this big, the weekend dates are this big, you don't have a lot to work with, right? When you really look, you're between May 2-4 and Labor Day weekend. Then you really have to chop off May and June, because prime time is the end of the school year until Labor Day weekend. You got Civic Holiday weekend. There's some hot dates in there. Canada Day is always kind of screwy, because you never know what day of the, well, you do know what day of the week it's going to fall on, but it's not like it's not always a long weekend like Civic Holiday weekend is, so you can count on that Sunday night or that Monday. People get into habits. So it really is a challenge having to balance. And you also have to respect the fact that every racetrack that's still in operation wants those prime time dates. So there has to be a little bit of give and take, because if you don't give anything, they're going to take. Right? If you don't give the other promoters a little something to work with, they're going to schedule against your big show, and everybody winds up losing.
Yeah, I think the easiest it's been for us around here was the last few years, because we all kind of settled into our own, what I would call heritage dates. So, like, for example, the Civic weekend in August was always the Humberstone All-Canadian for the last 50 years. Nobody messed with that date. And then for, 28 years before that, it was the Merrittville Big Block race was the next day. And then the Ransomville Chicken Barbecue was the next Tuesday. So nobody ever messed on those dates. You know what I mean? And so even us, when the Big Block date was optioned to us, I knew Don wasn't taking, but I still called him and said, hey, are you going to be okay if we take this date? Because, it's kind of your baby and it was your deal. We don't want to be kind of, stomp on anybody's toes. So we do our best to work together. But even look at from the Ush Weekend side, so that was 1 July. Okay, we slipped that in there. Nobody had anything going on July 6th. It was a special date for us, being the track's 25th anniversary. So it made sense to put that deal together. But you look at our other major event that we're not fully ready to announce yet, which is August 17th and 18th. That is a new date where we moved off of our traditional World of Outlaw Monday, Tuesday date where we had the Northern Summer Nationals last year. So nobody was going to jump on those dates because they were traditionally ours for 10 years. But now we're moving to a whole new week in August. And that took a lot of phone calls and calling these guys. And at the time we were doing that, Adam, is a month ago, where all the trackers still really coy. We're all still playing poker. We all don't want to tell what we've got up our sleeve, but we still got to make sure our buddies aren't playing the hands against us too. So I'm real happy to say, as a promoter in Ontario and in the Northeast, I want to thank all the other promoters for working so well together, having an open door policy that we can call and say, hey, what do you got going this week? I'm planning on doing something here. Is this going to screw you? And we're all fairly honest, and it seems to work out. I mean, some of the biggest battles I've seen among promoters are stopping on someone's date. Now, with that being said, go ahead.
Labor Day weekend next year. Canadian Tire Motorsport with the trucks, and maybe Jukasa the same weekend with the short track nationals. I mean, that to me, that's, you don't know what's going to happen, but it's disappointing that it could come head to head.
Yeah, and you look at Jukasa, right? So they built it up for the last couple of years on that weekend, and now the biggest other race in Canada on pavement is going to jump on that weekend where it was before Jukasa had that weekend. So it's one of those deals where, look at us personally. We had a great time. We camped at, CTMP last year. At least I had a great time. It was great to work there. Last 2 years, I spotted and worked for TSN on the Sunday. You worked TSN both days. What do we do? And then this year, we both worked the short track nationals at Jukasa, which we loved. So even us personally are in a jam there, not to mention what the race fans are going through, what they're going to do. So I, for one, hopefully, I'm praying for a solution there that doesn't involve stomping on each other's toes, because it's tough to clone us and be both places at the same time, which we'd really like to be if that's what it comes down to. And, exciting. Good problems to have, though, that we have so many awesome events that we're pissed off we can't make them all happen.
Well, like I said at the top of the show, I think we're blessed to be race fans right now. It's a great time in racing to be fans. There's lots of good racing to be had, and there's going to be lots next year.
Okay, Snowball Derby. Do we want anything you want to mention about that?
You know what? What I wanted to mention about it was that is a destination race. And there are very, very few races on the calendar that are destination races. The Chili Bowl, World Finals, Speed Weeks. And I think the Snowball Derby is absolutely one of those events. And I just wanted to show it some respect. Big event coming up with big entry lists. And I don't know if Ricky Brooks is doing tech for that event, but we did see a letter today that Ricky Brooks has separated himself from New Smyrna Speedway and the management there over some differing views. So I'm not sure exactly what went down there, but that's big.
It did say, I'm pretty sure I read he'll be at 5 Flags for the Snowball Derby, but did pull away. Ricky Brooks was a guy we got to meet at the Short Track Nationals, and carries a big aura with him, but kind of just a big teddy bear as far as we saw. Very personable, willing to talk to us about anything on the spot. And I don't think he was really used to that, having announcers walk up to him in the pit area and jam a microphone in his face, but he handled it well.
He was a gentleman, well-spoken, said what he wanted to say, and not much more. Like it's a great message he delivered.
Good point. All right, so we have so much more to talk about. As always, we can go on forever, but we try to keep it to 1 hour. It keeps us neat and tidy. So we'll let Adam finish off with Adam out there. Now, Adam, you have a new project going on. You've been working hard to better yourself in many ways. Been taking some classes, been trying to figure out some new ways to put yourself out there. And I know mental health has been something that's been near and dear to your heart for a long time. You've talked about it for a couple of years now, about doing podcasts and other things like that. And you've been finally inspired to jump off the cliff and go for it. Not to be punny or smart-assy, but you're a guy who suffers from anxiety. Why are you taking this on to give yourself more anxiety to talk about anxiety? I worry about you.
It's really something, isn't it? I'm doing it because I need to. I battle anxiety and depression. I have for a long, long time since I was a teenager, and I've generally won the battle. Clinton, you know me. You've known me for more than 20 years. I'm as happy a person as you're ever going to meet. So that's why it's needed, because most of the time life is great. I want to joke around. I'm smiling. I'm happy. Anxiety and depression are real problems, and they're getting worse. The challenge is, it's hard to find help. It's hard to find people that you can relate to, people that you can believe in. So I've created, long story short, I've created a website called putitouthere.org, and then I got real specific. It was kind of, I wasn't doing it anonymously, but I wasn't really advertising that it was me. And I've come to realize that the real value is in telling people it's me and admitting, hey, these are my stories. This is my day-to-day life. I'm sharing it with people. So I've launched Adam out there. I'm hosting my first event next Thursday night in Cambridge, Ontario. They're called the Mindwell Sessions, which is just a safe place to come out. And I'm going to tell some stories about living with anxiety and depression and overcoming your fears and overcoming your challenges, and hopefully spread a message of hope and optimism for people to help each other, Clint, because I think the more we talk about it, the more understood it is, the more people realize they're not alone if they're feeling anxiety or depression. There's a lot of power in that. So I'm excited to be hosting this event next week, and I'm excited to see where this will go. And I appreciate you giving me a couple of minutes to talk about it here.
No, it's awesome, Adam. And I mean, we all have these issues. I remember 10 years ago, I had some serious issues, and you were one of the first guys I called and said, hey, man, I'm in some trouble. And, you've been great to deal with over the years. I'm glad to see you actually do something about it and, making a difference. This isn't about racing. This is about humans. And you've always done a great job bringing the human side to the forefront. But I think communication is key. Even you and I, between ourselves, we're like brothers. We fight. You're generally the happy guy. I'm generally the tight wound clock who got the pissed off persona out there. But I'm generally a happy guy. I don't smile like you do, but I'm smiling on the inside. My friends know that all the time.
Yeah.
We always have a laugh. But let's talk about you. If I could put you on the center stage for a minute and put the spotlight on you. You're better than you are. You got a job you like. You're more successful at your day job. You got more money than you've ever had in your life. You're more stable than you ever have. You and Angie are happy. Kids are grown up. Got vacation. Got this. You still got all that anxiety, which shows us all. You can have it all, and you can still be stressed out of it. It's okay to have issues, to not feel right, to be stressed out every day, right? And I think, you're a good example of that, who people maybe look at us because we're on TV or, you're out there in the public and you've got it all going for it. Well, no, man, we still struggle every day. I still cry once a week. It's still tough, man.
Yeah.
Life's tough.
Someone asked me that. Someone sent me a note through the website, and it was about racing. Like you get up in front of so many people and you got a microphone in your hand, so everything is under a microscope. But I don't know about you, Clinton, but that's when I feel the most powerful. Not in a bad way, but I just feel like this is where I'm meant to be. This is where I can do my best work and be passionate and be uninhibited and hopefully bring joy to people watching races through my joyful self. You know what I mean? It feels really, really good. So sometimes we have to push ourselves and get out of our comfort zone, and it's okay to not feel okay. But you and I both know people, Clinton, who suffer and who don't talk about it, who internalize it, and I don't think it's healthy. It's everyone's personal decision, but I want to be one advocating to put it out there. Take that first step towards finding help. You deserve, everybody deserves to find a little bit of help and a little bit of support.
We're probably part of the problem because, as you say, you try and give that joy of the racing out there to the viewers. Some of your most anxiety-filled days are those days, and I know it, and Greg knows it. He'll tell you too. Like, we did a great job hosting the banquet, but all three of us were sick inside. We're not comfortable there. You know what I mean? And we do a good job bullshitting our way through it, but none of us are really loving it. And there's many nights, my most stressful nights are right as we're going live on national TV, and you smile and you put it out there, but really on the inside, it can burn you up. And I think my message, Adam, not that I have one because you're the big, this is your big deal and moment, but I think communication with your peers, communication with your family is huge. Work on a support system where you're okay to say, I'm not okay today. And I think you and I in the past 6 months have really developed that to the point that you call me and I start the conversation by saying, hey, just to let you know, I am not having a good day today, and walk lightly with me today. And you do the same, and we can, and right away, instead of poking at each other like we would brother to brother on a normal day, we stop throwing the barbs, we help each other out, and we help each other, hey, what's wrong? What can we do to help? And that's huge for us. And it just, between the two of us, it's been great.
Remember the day we didn't do that in the summer? And we both talk, because we talk multiple times every day during race season.
Is that the day I punched you in the...
No. But it's the day where the next day we both said, I was in a mood. Like I never should have even started that conversation. And I think you said somewhat of the same thing. And we're like, yeah, normally we're better at saying, now's not the time. Let's have this chat another time. But we didn't. And it got pretty ugly there. But we're always able to, you're right, communication is key. Find someone you trust. Find someone you believe in. Share what you need to share. Get it out of your system. And never give up on yourself.
No, awesome words of wisdom. To our race family, let's leave you guys on a positive note. As we wrap up the end of 2019, I can tell you as an insider here, along with Adam, our 2020 is going to be amazing. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Support the racetracks. Keep doing positive things. I know one thing I got, Adam, and I'm going to see if I can find it here because I'm going to send it to Spencer through the week. But it's you always find the memes and you screenshot them because they mean so much and you can do something. And this was how to support a friend's small business. Okay, I'll try and show it to you. I don't know if it's going to come through, but just a quick meme. How to support a friend's small business. And I kind of related it over to racing. Share their post, like their post, tag a friend, comment something nice, comment an emoji, post a pic, shout them out, or leave a review. And that's how to help your friend's small business. I think those are all great points on how you can help your race friends, the race teams, the race businesses, and those who help racing. So share their posts, like their posts, tag some friends, and share the positivity.
And one thing we need to mention, there is no Rivalz Elite Pro race tonight. We made the decision prior to the season that anytime there was a new build coming out or changes coming out, we were going to not schedule races because we've had troubles in the past. And because there was money on the line and a broadcast, we didn't want to risk that. So it was an off night for the Rivalz Pro Elite. We'll be back in action next Tuesday night.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Spencer, for your hard work tirelessly week in, week out. He does so much behind the scenes that you guys don't know. All the production companies are asking him for clips, and we got Spencer doing a lot of other things. Spencer, thank you so much. You're a godsend for us, too. Thanks, Adam. Stay cool, brother. Thanks to all our guests. Thanks to all your viewers. It's amazing to be with you in the off-season. Feels closer to us. And just like Stephen Ubben said earlier, off-season, we don't need an off-season. We'll stay close. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week, and share us.